Hello friends, today we are going to learn about recommended dietary allowances or RDA. RDA is defined as the average daily dietary intake that is sufficient to meet the nutrient requirement of nearly all healthy individuals in a particular life stage and gender group. It's periodically revised by the expert group of ICMR as and when new experiments and research uncover the new nutritional knowledge. Now we will discuss various factors that affect RDA. One of the first factors is variability in nutrient requirement. RDA differs according to the age, sex, weight, and height. For example, adults require calories and protein only for the maintenance of their body, while children require for both maintenance and growth. The requirement of iron is higher for women in reproductive age, and a special diet is required in the pregnancy and lactation to support fetal growth and milk secretion. The second factor that affects RDA is the bioavailability. Bioavailability is the amount of nutrient that has been absorbed and utilized by the body. Different food sources may have different bioavailabilities for the same nutrient. It depends upon the presence of tannins, phytates, and antitrypsin factors that interfere with the absorption and utilization of nutrients. In general, the absorption of nutrients from animal sources is always higher than plant sources. The next factor that affects RDA is the interrelationship between nutrients. For instance, there is a precursor relationship existing between tryptophan and niacin. Means if you are taking enough of tryptophan, it can be converted into niacin in the body. There is a chemical combination or reaction between vitamin C and iron that promotes the absorption of iron from plant sources. There is a non competitive metabolic interrelationship between folic acid and iron. There is a competitive interrelationship between zinc and copper, and exchange interrelationship between vitamin E and selenium. Besides this, we should also remember that decreased amount of calorie intake increases the requirement of protein in our body. The requirements of vitamin B1, B2 and B3 depends upon the calorie intake because all three are involved in energy metabolism. Now we will study general principles of deriving RDA. Many types of approaches are taken by the institutions to derive RDA for a population. The first is dietary intake approach, used to derive energy requirement of children. The calorie intake of healthy growing children is measured and used as a standard for RDA. Next is the method in which nutrient requirement is observed for satisfactory growth rate. This approach is utilized to derive RDA for infants. Then we take nutrient balance approach. For adults, RDA value is that minimum intake of nutrients where nutrients remain in equilibrium, while for children, a positive nutrient balance is required. We measure the obligatory daily loss of nutrients by urine, stools, and sweat. While deriving RDA, for children, the growth factor is also taken into account. Different nutrients perform different functions in our body. In factorial approach, we assess the requirement of different nutrients for performing all those functions at the requirement and derive RDA for that particular nutrient. By obtaining data from turnover of nutrients in healthy persons, requirement of different vitamins and minerals like vitamin A, C, B12 and iron have been determined. To derive RDA for water soluble vitamins, we use depletion and repletion studies. We first deplete the nutrient and then gradually replete it to observe the response, which is an indication of the requirement of that nutrient. Now we will discuss the RDA for some of the nutrients. For energy, RDA provides the average for a particular age, sex, body size, and physical activity. The protein requirement in adults is to maintain nitrogen equilibrium, while in children and adolescents, a positive nitrogen balance is required. Also, the lower the quality of protein, higher will be the requirement. For fats, it is advised to keep the amount below 50 gram per day to avoid obesity and cardiovascular diseases. It is important to remember that the amount of B1, B2, and B3 vitamins is always directly proportional to the energy intake. For calcium and phosphorus, 1 is to 1 ratio is preferred. For iodine, 50 to 75 microgram per day is the recommendation. The given formula is used to derive RDA. The physiological minimum requirement is divided by fraction of nutrient available from diet. The result is then multiplied by 1.25. The RDA is provided with respect to a reference Indian man and woman. A 19 to 39 years old man with a weight of 65 kg and height of 1.77 meter, which when calculated gives a BMI of about 20.75, who is free from any disease and engages himself in 8 hours of moderately active work, 8 hours of sleep, 4 to 6 hours of sitting and moving, and 2 hours of walking and active recreation, has been taken as a reference man. Similarly, a woman 19 to 39 years old with a weight of 55 kg and height of 1.62 meter, which when calculated gives a BMI of 20.95, who is free from any physiological disease and engages herself in similar level of physical activity on a daily basis, has been taken as a reference woman. This is the summary of RDA for Indians recommended by ICMR NIN in 2020.